today we look towards 2015. Well, yes, indeed, with the registration of two new parties, PDM and ID, and then, of course, you have the registration of APC. People had always talked about this two-party structure, or at least two strong ones, and then you have all the other ones. But let's see how that goes on this segment. Anthony Onyohane joins us this morning. He's a legal practitioner and a political analyst. Good morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Good morning. Pleasure being here.
Is this fascinating for you when you see that, I think I even saw some stories that was some sort of denial from INEC about registering those parties, but eventually it's back in the fray. Two parties have come on stream, and then you have APC also coming on stream. How exciting or otherwise is this for you just ahead of 2015 elections?
Okay, I think it's a good development. If you look at the country, you look at Nigeria today, you find out that all of this happening tells us it's a reflection of what is happening in the society. There is a general disenchantment by Nigerians as to the promises of this present administration.
General or similarly general?
Well, I would say general, because if 70% of the population are not doing so well, then definitely it shows that people are not happy. And when political parties begin to come up like this, when we already have 63 registered as at the last count, that tells you that a lot of people want to get into the political space and see what they can do to help the country. But of importance is the purport of these new parties, their manifestos, their agenda, what they stand for, which presently is not clear at all. It's not clear. We are still looking at them, trying to find out where they stand. And if you look at where we want to be and where we are, you begin to ask yourself the questions. Aren't these the same persons who we have always known all our lives, who are now going by different names? APC made up of ANPP and ACN, Buhari, Tinubu. These are people who we have always known all our lives, and people we have we've had cause to question some of their doings. And when they begin to re-strategize and begin to come out under different names, I think it's a sign that 2015 is going to be heated, really heated.
Because initially, as Chemble rightly puts it, first we heard from Kayode Ido, who actually denied the registration of new political parties. But finally, they came up. And PDM, some analysts are already tying that to, or linking it to the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And, well, we all knew how it all emerged with the late Yaradua. And now what is happening... we thought we're actually gravitating to a two-party state. The last analyst we had on the program actually attested to that. But now with PDM being another strong political party, so to speak, strong because of the personalities, as you rightly linked some personalities to APC and some of this, do you think that the ruling party, which is the PDP at the center, stands a chance?
Of course, they do stand a chance. If you look at it, the political power presently, the government in power is a PDP government, and a good number of the states are PDP states. Of course, we understand the internal wranglings within PDP itself, which has generated a lot of comments of late. But looking at PDP and looking at APC and the new PDM and everything, for me, it's just a restructuring of opportunities for these same persons who had always been in power. When it seems as if a particular political structure is no longer favoring you, the easiest thing to do as a Nigerian is to jump camp,
You're talking about selfishness here.
Definitely, and that tells you that there's so much within government coffers that everybody wants to get in the show and of course have something to do. The registration of PDM, it's very interesting. As you said, it seems as if we're going to have a two-party state when the other party was registered, APC was registered. But out of the blues, in fact, most people didn't see it coming. INEC just announced that they registered PDM, and people were like, okay, wait, what is happening here? Of course, a lot of people have said a lot of things, that it is the joker of Atiku, if he still wants to contest, and if the PDP is being funny or they don't want to give him what he wants, but then he can, of course, he has a backup plan now. But some other people will tell you that, some other analysts will tell you that this PDM is also a PDP thing,
It's a way
to break the seemingly emergence of APC. So at the end of the day, for me, you begin to look at the people who are behind these parties and what they stand for. What comes out clearly is that we are still not yet on the right course, as far as I'm concerned. We are still not there. It is still the same persons. Atiku was in PDP. He left. He came back. Now there's APC, PDM, and then APC. All of course, we know of Buhari's antecedents being in ANPP and CPC, and presently APC, and of course Tinubu from the former AD, then ACN. And if you look at all of these, you begin to ask and question, where is the future of Nigeria?
Just let me comment here, because a lot of metamorphosis we've seen now, everyone changing garb, and you say it's the same of the same. But again, you used you drew my attention to something. You said no one ever saw PDM coming into the frame. Unlike the hue and cry we all saw leading up to the emergence of APC.
Yeah.
How come we missed out on that? Was it deliberate? Was it that INEC and PDM, they were just doing that in a hush-hush tone?
I think it was a strategy. I think it was a strategy of the people who registered PDM. They wanted to be quiet. They had looked at the political space. They saw what was happening with the APC being registered, and they felt that, you know what, we will take a different route. We will not make noise about this. We will spring this surprise on Nigerians and tell them, hey, we've got this platform. You know, you can actually, any of you guys, you know, you can actually come use this platform as long as you follow what we say. And it's interesting to note that in all of this, we are seeing no clear direction as to where either of these parties want to take Nigeria to. Of course, just recently today, APC came out with 8-point agenda. In it, we have free education, we had fight against corruption, power supply, good road network, and everything. And
it's similar to what the PDP already
Of course. And in fact, you can give it to the present administration that they have been trying to work around power supply, and they've been trying to do some of these railroads to see how they can increase the network. But what is important is, when you write these agendas, we've seen 7-point agenda, we've seen 8-point agenda. When you write it, do you mean it? Do you have the clouds or what it takes? Do you have the structure to ensure that you follow it to its conclusion? Because for me, any economy today that is not planning towards the knowledge economy has missed the point. And in Nigeria today, I just don't see it happening. It's just not happening. All we are talking about is, they were talking about food security. APC was talking food security as part of their, I was like, okay, wait, how is this going to happen? You know, is it that the government is going to start growing crops? Because there has to be a systematic plan for development. And let's be honest, the role of government is to create the environment, bring the policies, and allow the private sector to generate the wealth.
Let's talk about politics from the state. For a political party with no base now, for instance, we don't have a governor. For now, we don't have anyone who's publicly should align with the PDM. Just got its registration at least last week, Friday. Looking at APC, already they have some sitting governors. And of course, PDP would have loads of governors. Do you think at the end of the day, 2015 will actually be won from the states?
Well, it's difficult to see presently, because you would also understand that each of these governors have their own personal agendas too. Forget the fact that presently they are all under one umbrella or the other. If a particular umbrella is no longer serving their purpose, they will jump camp, and they would go where they feel they will get what they want.
You remember the broom analogy in Africa that once, they're all separated, it's no longer strong. So now, if the opposition, we have some of them in PDM and some already in APC, don't you think that will amount to victory for the ruling PDP?
Of course, it may seem like that, but for me, nothing is certain presently. For me, the emergence of PDM is I'm sorry to use this language, it's like, okay, let me use it in this part. It's like a runsman kind of thing. Okay, this is the party that is just here. You know, we are here and we are ready for anything. You know, hey, let's see where this thing is going. Anybody who, it's like...
Do you know that some people say that the PDM has actually been in existence even before? as far back as 1999.
But not as a political
but
party.
Not as a political party.
It was just a movement.
As
it
a
was
movement.
traced to Yaradua. The late Shehu Yaradua was a movement under him.
Yeah.
But people have even said that the present PDM in fact, must be diverse from what late Shehu Yaradua was doing, because that if you look at his antecedents and what these people are doing, the present chairman of PDM is Malam Bashiru Yusuf, who was the political advisor to the then Vice President Atiku Abubakar. And if you look at some of his comments over time, I mean, personally, you would draw the conclusion that, okay, this man may not truly be on the side of the generality of Nigerians in terms of the type of structure we want to see as a country, in terms of true federalism. He was part of those who drafted the 1999 Constitution, by the way, and he did mention that, yes, why he stands for true federalism and stands for some of those things, but some of those, they never found their way into the Constitution.
The reason I asked this question, or the reason I brought this in, is because former Vice President has said that, you know, he has absolutely nothing to do, regardless of what anybody thinks, he has nothing to do with that particular movement or platform or party, and that he has no right whatsoever, you know, to